And all eyes are on the U. The Miami Hurricanes are looking to avoid a third consecutive losing record in ACC play within the Mario Cristobal era. The Hurricanes have never posted 3 straight losing conference records since joining a conference in 1991. Now, quarterback Cam Ward transferred in from Washington State, and he accounted for 74% of the team's total offense in 2 years with the Cougars, the highest rate of team total offense by any player over that span. Now, Ward has the second and third leading receivers in the ACC. Only Virginia's Malik Washington compiled more receiving yards than Xavier Restrepo and Jacoby George. Mario Cristobal spoke earlier today on the improvements being made.
What's different, I can tell you what's progressing. And back to what we were talking about earlier, there's a starting point for everything, right? And starting point at Miami for us was making sure that we enhance the caliber of talent in the locker room, that we increase the level and capabilities of the coaching staff, and that we blend in the strongest and most unbreakable culture that we can. And we've been at it for 2 years, so systems are growing, players are developing, people are there for the right reasons, right? Growth and development, hard work, and good people is a very strong combination. We feel awesome about the people in the building. These guys, they run to the work. They run to the fight. They're awesome to be around. It really is. It's awesome to sit back and watch them work.
It'll be awesome to see them come back. Now, there's been a lot of talk, but no action so far, and many people are saying that Miami is back. So we're going to welcome in another member, Eddie Royal. Now, Eddie, what do you need to see from Miami to solidify that awesome statement?
Well, you got to dominate week one. It's a big matchup against Florida, SEC opponent, and I really want to see it at the line of scrimmage. We talk about this big offensive line. Mario Cristobal specializes in that. I want to see those guys dominate up front. ACC versus SEC, that's where the games are going to be won, in the trenches. We all know about Cam Ward, how great he is with the ball, but then you throw in Damian Martinez, a big-time transfer, and also that receiving core. I love Xavier Restrepo, one of the most consistent receivers that they have in the ACC.
Unbelievably productive. There's no question about it. I think when you look at Miami, do we look at them and say, I don't know about talent? No. Do we look at them and say, I don't know about the quarterback? No. You mentioned the offensive line and the defensive front. Both line of scrimmage have been addressed really last year heading into this year. The question you worry about is, can you get in the plus side on the turnover margin? They're -4 a year ago. That's not winning football. And are you disciplined? Can you avoid penalties? Can you manage the football game? We saw that happen a year ago. And so I think the talent and the core is there and the foundation. They just got to play smarter football.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, to put some numbers behind it, this team was 96th last year out of 133 teams in penalty yards, 98th out of 133 teams in turnovers. So it's the discipline and the decisions. Going back to that Georgia Tech game, it wasn't the players on the field that cost the team the game. It was poor coaching decisions by Mario Cristobal. Instead of taking a knee, he decides to run the ball gets fumbled, etc. So for me, when it comes to Miami, talent is not the issue. They are extremely talented. Cam Ward is extremely talented. Francis Noah, their star tackle, who's a 5-star recruit, superbly talented. But it's the decision-making, the discipline, and that starts from the top, starts from the coaching staff, and it dwindles and trickles down to the players on the field. Talent is not the issue for Miami. It's discipline, it's structure, and it's coaching.
Respect from his head coach. Take a listen.
We believe in Cam Ward, and we believe that Cam Ward will allow Miami to do things that Miami hasn't been able to do in a long, long time. And the reason everybody wanted him was his playmaking ability, right? Really accurate, great arm strength, ability to improvise, extend plays, a game changer. But what impressed us the most was whenever there was a bad play, his ability to bounce back and make things right. His aggressive, I would say competitive nature to come back and make things right, to go ahead and make up for maybe a play that was negative, was really, really impressive, and that has really stood out in his time at Miami throughout spring practice.
I feel like the biggest thing for me going into this year is, getting better at the easy stuff. I feel like where I lacked last year, is not taking the easy stuff all the time. I try to get too big play happy, and that's one thing that, I tried to hone in spring, and, I feel like this is one of my best springs out of all my college career. Obviously I got Jacoby George, Strep out there, Isaiah Horton. I think Elijah Roy is going to have a great year for us this year. So, I have some weapons around me. We got to show up every game. We can't take games off no matter if we're playing the best team in the country or one of the worst teams. We got to be the same team on that field every Saturday.
Getting better at the easy stuff always is a good thing. Now, Lugs, how does Cam fit in with this Miami team?
Well, first of all, from a scheme marriage standpoint, from his skill set to the scheme, I think it's ideal. Now, he's been an incarnate word. He's been at Washington State, certainly most recently at Miami. We're going to see it this fall. But all 3 stops featured some version of the air raid. So there's such familiarity there. And I think the theory of the game, he understands. Clock in his head. He knows where he's going with the football. He will limit mistakes. He will also protect himself. You know, they only gave up 16 sacks a year ago. Now you got a dynamic runner behind center, and so he can help that in more ways now, and utilizing his feet. And the other thing too is I love the arm angles.
Love it,
Eddie. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's just the confidence that he's bringing, the swag. I mean, he's walking around. It's a quiet confidence that Miami has now, right? I was drinking the Kool-Aid before as well. I believed that it was Miami back when Tyler Van Dyke, but it's something special about this guy that makes you want to believe in Miami. Mario Cristobal learned from his mistakes. Even coaches can get better, so he'll know for next time, maybe I ought to take that knee. So it's going to be those little things. They're going to improve all across the board, and it starts with coaching.
Yeah, and to your point, I love what you're saying about coaching, but even about Cam Ward, the confidence piece is huge. This dude, when he steps on the field, he thinks he's the best player on the field, and rightfully so. I think it was 2 years ago when toe-to-toe to Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, at Washington State. And so this dude knows how to play the game of football, but what's even better is that he rallies people around him. That's what I think Mario Cristobal is trying to point to and allude to. He's saying, hey, man, when there's a down play, when he's trying to do too much, he can bounce back. And then you hear Cam Ward say it himself. Let me keep the simple stuff simple. I can do the electric, I can do the amazing, but let me try and do the easy stuff that'll help elevate my game to the next level.
Yeah, I believe this is the chance for Miami to make a statement, right? If you want to prove that the U is back, win against Florida in the swamp, come and make your statement, and I think this is the team to do it. They got the right guys in place for that.
Hot out of the gate. Got to come out hot.
And it's interesting, you know, he said how spring was his best spring. Listen to these stats. His last 2 seasons at Washington State, starting all 25 games, and during that time, he threw for nearly 7,000 yards. I mean, that quiet confidence is everything. Don't you agree, Sam?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I just go back to that first game. Eddie's pointed to it. That first game versus Florida is going to be huge. But if you look at their first 6 or 7 games, if Miami is who we think they are, they could easily be 6-0, 7-0 going into that Florida State game. And so those are big statements, but this is a talented team with a relatively easy first half of the schedule.